People who had no sex education at all and had never ever seen the opposite sex's special parts. How'd you know how sex worked, if you did at all, and which parts were supposed to go where? How did your first time go? This was in 1998. I was M17. She was F18. We had the day set. I drove around for like a week trying to find a spot. I found one inside a wilderness preserve. The day comes. It was late, dark outside. We were in a tiny truck, the front on of the truck, not the bed. I knew it had to be hard and where it went, and that was the end of my knowledge. So, she had a scene dom. I put it on, and I put it in, and I didn't move. I just put it in and laid there perfectly still. Needless to say, it didn't take long for things to go south. Now, I had masturbated plenty in my life, but I honestly thought that had nothing to do with the movements required for actual sex. So, it went soft, I was embarrassed, and I got out of the truck. The scene dom was no longer really useful. She told me to throw it out and try again. I was worried, but she reassured me that it would be fine. She ended up telling me a lot of lies over the next few years. Actually, it was fine, but that was still dumb on our part. Anyway, I manually got hard, trying to hide what I was doing from her. This time, I did the masturbate movements while I was inside her, even it made me seem like a weirdo by moving during sex, just trying to make something happen. Well, it happened, and I was relieved. Now, to get out of there, I had pulled into an area of the woods where there was a small pull-in. When I reversed out, I reversed into a ditch. Not a large ditch, but definitely stuck in the mud now. No amount of forward or reverse would get us out. We had no phones. This was just before cell phones became common. So, we began a 1-mile walk through this wilderness preserve at night. Talk about being scared. We came across a random house with a big dog. I wanted to skip that house, but it was the only one for another mile. So, we went to the door, knocked, and told the suspicious homeowner we were stuck and asked to use their phone. I had a friend, actually more of an acquaintance, with a truck. I had to guess at his dad's name to look them up in the phone book. I got a hold of him, and then we waited with these strangers for 30 minutes or more. He shows up, pulls my truck out, and charges me for gas money. I get home way past curfew. I'm grounded from seeing her anymore. Of course, that doesn't stop me. I was a man as of that night, albeit an awkward man. I went on later to marry that girl. Never received any sex ed when I was younger. While watching PRN I always thought, why doesn't his Eslan have the extra bit of skin mine does? Time goes on and my first GF is coming over to mine for the first time when my parents aren't home. This is it. Time to lose the V-plates. But wait, this extra bit of skin on my CM gun hasn't fallen off yet. So, in a panic, I decide to get the scissors and just snip off this excess skin. Had them primed and ready to slice my banjo string when I get a knock at the door. My GF had inadvertently saved me from savagely mutilating my own genitals. Thankfully she was more educated on the topic and got me through losing my virginity unharmed. When I was a kid, I thought sex was being under the bed sheets naked and make the bed rock while making noises. I cannot process how that made any sense to me then, but I just accepted that. I had only seen sex on TV, and of course on TV they never show them actually having sex, so I thought people just viciously tore their clothes off and then laying bed naked. I remember learning from PRN that the testicles do not actually go in the vagina. Just glad I got that little tidbit sorted out before my big moment. Throw away cause this it's f-king embarrassing. I was very sheltered, like absolutely no movies with sex and even kissing scenes had to be skipped. Eyes averted. Always taught not to kiss until marriage. Sex was taboo, and to this day I still have some irrational shame talking openly about it. The only people I socialized with at all were like me, extremely sheltered and old-fashioned, small town, small church, small school. Had sex ed, but it never actually taught us about sex. Just basic anatomy. I think it was 20 minutes once a year, only in grade 5 and 6. First time I got a binaire, maybe 13 IDK, but I thought the head of my DCK was gonna fall off as soon as the freskin pulled back behind that edge, and it freaked me out. I sat on the toilet for a good while just holding the F-reskin forward until it went away on its own. First time I masturbated I think 17. My DCK was disgusting because I had never done it before and never really played with my DCK at all, and nobody told me anything about cleaning it. There was years of DCK cheese, dead skin and all that stuff that built up into a several millimeters thick layer under my F-reskin. I don't remember a smell, but hard to imagine how there wasn't one. One night I had a bean air under me in bed, and I got super annoyed and just looked at it, and a piece of this DCK cheese was sticking out from the edge of the F-reskin and starting to come off. So I just carefully holy yes it was sensitive, peeled it off. Then some more, then some more. It felt amazing. Like peeling dried glue off your fingernails. Had sex with, well, having sex, and this was its baby. I eventually ran out of this nasty F-king acid to clean off, but by then I realized that moving the F-reskin back and forth on my DCK felt amazing, so I kept doing it. Then I sped up. Then I came. Then I knew. I had never CM before then, except from wet dreams, and I 100% was convinced I was sterile. So seeing that white stuff come out was almost better than the orgasm itself. The interesting thing is I'd been looking at PRN for years by that point, but somehow masturbation had never even crossed my mind. I just didn't know it was a thing people did. Someone at school asked me if I masturbated in grade 9, and I didn't even know what the word meant, so I had to go home and look it up, and I tried a few different web searches, but all I found was that it's when guys put their penis between the mattress and box spring and thrust, which I thought was super f***ing weird and painful, and why do that? To this day I have no idea how nothing more explicit came up on that Alta Vista search, but that's how I remember it. To this day I'm actually pretty self-conscious about the whole thing. Like how f***ing dense was I that I took so long to figure such a basic human exercise out. How disgusting is it that I didn't figure out how to clean my own DCK? WTF was I thinking about when I looked at all that PRN? Am I f***ing autistic? Probably to some extent.